And welcome to another edition of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt Clausen from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, also known as your credit card hermit. That's a terrible branding. Please, somebody stop me from doing that next week. Joined as always by RJ. RJ, how are you today?
You know what, Matt? We're trying a new thing with the podcast for how we let our Diamond members experience it. So I am slightly nervous. The Packers also have 2 seconds left, and our kicker can't make field goals. So I'm about to be either very happy or very angry.
We'll find out very shortly which one. We're also joined by Craig. Craig, how are you this week?
I am highly caffeinated and living the dream. Also, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, so I hope RJ knows nothing but misery over the next 35 seconds.
Caleb Williams
I
is just
respect it.
knocking out coaches all over the place. Who knows?
Love to see it.
Maybe this is finally the week the Matt LaFleur or the special teams coach for the Packers get sacked. Not the Matt LaFleur would get sacked.
He missed it, just so we're all on the same page, and I'm gonna have an existential breakdown after this recording.
You'll just love to see it. My haterism runs deep.
Craig continues to consume the haterade. We're also joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. And Lonnie recently was talking about Airbnbs, if y'all are interested. Lonnie, how are you this week?
I was talking about Airbnbs in my members only video today and trying to figure it out. There's a lot of info out there. But to go on the sports theme, as the other Illinoisan in this group of 4 of us, I am a Bulls fan. For hockey, I am a Blackhawks fan. For baseball, because I represent south of the river, I am a White Sox fan. But for football, I am actually, and I still use the old name, I'm a Redskins fan because my dad's from D.C., and that's the house I grew up in.
Mariota.
The Detroit's Lions just did a number on you. Are you doing okay?
It says root beer. It's just beer.
Yeah, no, I put spotted cow in here, just fun.
Spotted cow. Talk about east of the Mississippi.
I was going to say.
It's Salt and Straw on the west of the Mississippi, except for 2 other places. But
I don't think I can get much further east of the Mississippi than New York without falling into the Atlantic.
Yeah, I'm about as far west as you can go without my shoes getting wet.
Estelle Banga. Sorry, I want to still respect the Blackhawks. I really want to still respect the Blackhawks, but I can't respect the Blackhawks anymore.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. It's a Chicago thing. Doesn't matter if our team wins or loses. We support them to the end.
100%.
Doesn't matter. We're there when nobody said nothing when the Blackhawks won 3 years in a row. And then when they didn't win 3 years in a row, guess what? We still wore red and black all day.
Exactly.
No, and that's all fair. It's just the stuff that happened.
Like, I don't even pay attention to hockey. Like, I can't tell you the last time I even watched a hockey game on a commercial by accident. That's how much I don't watch. But if we get into a hockey conversation, I'm instantly on the Blackhawks. Defend it for some reason. That's Chicago for you.
Speaking of hockey, I will be at a hockey game in 20 days that I paid for with my StubHub credit.
Nice.
Because I finally got to use my damn credits after waiting 4 fucking months. I'm in a mood tonight, guys. I'm sorry. All right. As we like to do, let's jump into our viewer questions. Our first question comes from Kirby G, who asks, what niche category do you have a lot of spend on that there isn't a good multiplier for? Maybe like video games or something like that? Craig, do you have a niche category that you spend quite a bit of money on that isn't covered by something?
Yeah, so I would actually have said video games, but surprisingly, Apple covers me pretty well, and so does Capital One. So instead, I'm going to say education. I have a nerd in my house that has chosen to go back and get a degree. And so every 6 months, I get a $6,000, $7,000 charge that hits a credit card. And nobody cares about your tuition. Good times. University of Indiana just says, I want my money and I want it now. Education is my niche random thing that hits every few months and just makes me cry a little bit every so much.
Do they slap a surcharge on there too?
Oh, you're goddamn right. I think it's 2.5% if you have a domestic credit card, and if you have a international credit card, it is 9.8%.
I'm sorry, who's coming to the University of Indiana from a foreign country and willing to pay with a credit card?
IU Bloomington, plenty of people. Engineers, business school, law school. You'd be surprised.
But credit card?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Color me something.
Bloomington is highly overlooked in Illinois.
Or Indiana.
I'm talking about Illinois.
A
lot of people don't even realize the headquarters.
That there's a Bloomington, Illinois.
Yeah. State Farm Insurance is headquartered in Bloomington, Illinois.
Isn't that just part of Chicagoland?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's
Not even
hours
close, actually.
away. Hours away from Chicago.
I don't know. For me, it's just Chicagoland, and then suddenly you're in like either the Quad Cities or you're in St. Louis.
Only people outside of Illinois think that Chicago, there's two parts. It's Chicago, and that is the rest of Illinois, and everything else is right next to Chicago. Illinois is pretty big, y'all. Go look at a map.
I know
Matt,
it's
you're
big.
doing to them what they do to New Yorkers. Have some respect, man.
Thanks, RJ.
In fairness, as a man that is from Chicago, it is Chicago and everything else. But I agree with Lonnie. There's so much more. The state is humongous.
As someone that was born outside of the Chicago walls and just adopted it because of my mother and life, which is where my Chicago comes from. I have admitted this before. I was not born in Chicago, so don't try to come at me, y'all. But there is a whole other world outside of Illinois, and I'm actually from at the time, the second largest city, or the largest city outside of Chicago. Now it's the second largest city outside of Chicago, stupid Rockford. There's more to Illinois.
Crazy, because like Rockford, Illinois is just so many things.
It's so many. There's not a word you can use.
Yeah.
Those damn peaches.
Oh, we got the pumpkins in Morton, by the way, RJ. So most of that stuff in the U.S. comes from Illinois too.
Yep.
And our corn and soybeans, most of that comes from Illinois as well. Illinois keeps y'all afloat, y'all.
It's fair.
It's fair. It's fair. Know your history. Land of the Lincoln and Lincoln ain't from Illinois. Put that one together.
There's
Nice.
4 states in a quad area that claims Lincoln, and everybody has a weird gripe about it. And I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's an ugly man, and I appreciate the work that he did.
With that, Lonnie, what is a niche category that you do a lot of spending that doesn't have a good multiplier for it?
I can tell we're on our best behavior because Lonnie didn't
We are
take the
on
blame.
our best behavior. And Ronald Reagan went to college in Illinois, by the way.
Let's get to the question.
Nancy, put your throat away.
So I'm actually going to give you 2 answers to that question now that we're back on track. And RJ is completely red.
Before I fire the rest of ATC.
And this is why going live is a problem, because she can't just cut us off and edit us out.
We have one person watching us. You know what? The people who are paying for this, I hope you're enjoying this. This is what I have to suffer with.
If they're watching, they probably just left it on and left their phone on in the toilet.
I don't care. If the cat's watching us, I don't care.
You get what you pay for, folks. Anyway, I'm going to give you 2. I think the first one is not very fair. The first one I would say is Amazon. I say it's not very fair is because you basically got to have an Amazon card to get the best Amazon return, period. I don't have an Amazon card, and I use it for all my I need something quick. I can get it by 4 a.m. if I spend $25 tonight, and it shows up tomorrow morning by the time I wake up. The other one I would say, and not to go off of video games, I'm not a huge video gamer, but Lego. I do have a Lego hobby. I'm a Lego enthusiast. It's my therapy. I like to collect them. I am this close to getting the 3rd Star Wars, the major Star Wars USC set. And I have all 3 sitting in boxes, of course, because nowhere to put them once I build them because they're so stinking huge. But still, they're not cheap. The newest one has a comma in it at the retail price before tax. Let's just call it what it is. And then, yeah, it'll be great to get extra points and miles on there. Normally what I end up doing anyway is just waiting for a Rakuten deal when Lego goes like 15 or 20. And then hopefully I can double that down for PayPal deal like the Freedom Flex is about to have in December. And so then I'll usually buy it then so I can get 20, 25, whatever points per dollar or something like that. Or you can also, a lot of people don't realize this, you can buy Lego directly through the Disney store. And Disney store always has a 20% off and a Rakuten deal and a travel shopping portal deal as well. So there are ways that I go around it, but it'll be great to just have something where I can get it direct.
Lonnie, can I interest you in the Wells Fargo Attune?
No, you cannot. Thanks for talking. Thanks for playing.
4 times miles on both of those things, but okay.
Who needs
Figured out
4
there
when
was
you're pulling 20? I don't need to be too greedy.
But you could get the 4 with
I know what you're saying. I could do that with the Rakuten card now too.
facts. RJ, what's a niche category that you have a lot to spend on that doesn't have a good multiplier?
Vices. Cigars, primarily.
Oh, I was going to say like handy tools, like a vice grip.
Yeah, no, like cigars, right? Like cigars. I don't drink anymore, but alcohol, something Matt probably with his peanut butter whiskey habit has something to think about.
Wow.
Are you out of peanut butter? Oh, I'm sorry. Again, if you had a card with a high multiplier for vices, you would be all set. But no, I want one for vices. Give me a card I can buy cigars on and get a higher multiplier, because I don't like buying them online because there can be issues, but I can buy them in person in a cigar shop and it would be great. Love it. But there's not a card for that. It's very sad. So
If
that is my
there was
answer.
a card that would allow me to just hit the redeem button and they just sent me a bottle of Macallan every couple of months, that would be really nice.
You could do that with your Wells Fargo miles because you don't have a better transfer partner. Macallan,
Don't bring Wells Fargo into this.
You brought him up with Lonnie. I'm just reminding.
Damn it. I'm also going to chime in with medical. Anything medical related. Copays, you don't get good multipliers. Although the new Edward Jones card will let you do that. Copays, anything to do with pharmacies get 3% on Chase cards, but more other sorts of payments, like while you're paying down your deductible, like getting 3% back on that would be nice. In addition to paying what you got to pay for the insurance company to start kicking things in. Why have insurance that doesn't work properly? Anyway, so I'm going to go with medical stuff. That's a niche category, but I don't put a ton of spend on it, but I am doing like copays all over the place right now. Because mental health is a joke in this country. Anyway.
Copay medical is one of those things you don't need it until you do. Like if you're about to have a kid, you can rack up thousands in prenatal vitamins and in visits and in whatever, or if you're about to have surgery, or if you're about to do different things, like you either need it or you don't, like health insurance.
That's true. Boy, howdy. That's look, it's expensive. Thanks, Kirby. Our next question comes from AP, who asks the fun question of why do we have so few women creators? And I think specifically in the credit card space. Jay?
Is there a particular reason you're going to me first, Matt?
Not embarrassingly, no.
Okay.
Misogynist.
No, I'm going to say a couple of things. One, I think a lot of women tend to take a look at the layout of a hobby or a space, and if it is primarily male dominated, they just say no. Like a lot of women just don't make a thing about it. They're just like, oh, thank you. Just not for me. I'm going to put this down. Don't walk over there. That is just a thing that happens with women. I think some of it is a lot of people who are the ages of the people who watch our videos, who are our ages, have more going on in their life than to be able to sit down and watch a video on credit cards. And I mean that from all creators, not just us, right? Like we had this conversation in one of the channels on the Discord of like, proportionately married women do more household labor than single mothers because they have to deal with having a husband. And I'm talking specifically heterosexual couples. They have a husband, so they want to be a good wife. They have children, so they want to be a good mother. So they have all of this societal pressure. They don't have time to also think about points and miles typically. Now, some do. Some marriages are much healthier and there's a more fundamentally fair distribution of household labor, and some of those women would be very happy to join said community, right? So there's that part going on. There is simply like if you watch some of the creators in this space, they talk down to women without any women like presumably being in the room. If you talk about your player too, like she is not a fully functioning human being with a brain and the ability to consent to applications that you are putting in her name, if you're a woman watching that, like, why would I want to get into a space that has that as how people talk? Like, I like the idea of the term player too, because it implies this person is playing the game with you. It's gender neutral. There's a lot of good about it. But the way that term is used, the way we treat that term, the way a lot of people treat that person isn't as a person. It's an extension of, they only have a 324. So I'm just going to put the application in and maybe I'll let them see it before I apply. And then I'm just going to apply. Or, yeah, I have to put what is on for this card because my wife, who is doing all the grocery shopping and the predominant childcare and cleaning the house, is too dumb to figure out what this credit card is for, that I have spent 9 hours watching videos on while she is taking care of our kids. Like, I watch these conversations happen. Thankfully, these don't happen much in our Discord, but there are other Discords where, like, people have these conversations and I don't think they're meaning to. I do not think some of them are meaning to be this way, but it is so baked into society of how we treat women and of how women to women treat women, how men to women treat women, how these things happen, that it is baked in that this is not a space for you. I mean, there's me, there's some other creators, Key from Kiki Adventure, another amazing woman who's very smart and is a great watch, right? There are women in the space, but it's not a space that is particularly welcoming to women. So as a viewer or as a creator, so I think that's part of it, right? If you don't feel like the people who are already making content in that space want you in the room, then you don't have a lot of drive. You might not have a lot of drive to join that space, because why do I want to go to a place where they don't treat me or see me as a person? Like, they just see me as an extension. Video games also have this problem. It's in some ways getting better, but it has not gotten better enough. Women in sports, like, there's a lot of places these things have already existed for a long time. I think credit cards, finance tends to be more conservative. You tend to have more delineated sort of gender roles being presented, whether that's how that person actually lives or not. So I think there's a lot of reasons for it. It's sad. I wish there were more women, but I understand why a lot of women don't do it.
No, that's fair. Other shout outs beyond Key, Yiji Reno is another interesting person in terms of the credit card content that she's creating. Stacy's Points and Travel, Points and Miles. She does more she's more on Facebook. She hasn't like fully jumped into YouTube, but she does put up like shorts and stuff like that. Stacy's pretty dang knowledgeable as well. So yeah, there's some other creators out there that, you know, should get a look. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
Man, I feel like this is a thin ice question coming from a guy. Yeah, where I personally don't have an answer. I can only speculate. Yep. And my first speculation, so not to take away from anything that RJ said, because I 100% agree with it, but the other aspect of it is they're just not as interested. We see that in cultural society, literally all over the place, where some men choose to do X and some women choose to do Y, and never the two shall meet. Not to get too far into the sexism of it, but think of back in the 70s where there was shop class and home economics class, where women most likely were just pigeonholed into home economics and males were pigeonholed into shop. But now fast forward where things are way more fluid and you still don't see, I could ask the same question. How come there aren't more males that want to be cheerleaders? How come there aren't more females that want to be the captain of the high school or college sports team? Not that they can't do it. It's just that line has, I don't want to say systemically, but it's almost systemically, it's ingrained in our culture, it's ingrained in our society to not cross. And as RJ had originally pointed out, it's like the creator ecosystem, that community was just owned dominance by men. It was created by men. The first video was by men. It was owned by men. It was acquired by a company ran by men. Talking about YouTube, that is. I can only speculate that it just led that way. And it was like, okay, this is a guy thing. And that's what kind of turned it off. Even though it's not, like you said, there's a lot of great female creators. I'm subscribed to a lot of great female creators in my own personal subscriptions list. But I don't want to say I'm going to bow out on answering the question. I'm only going to avoid a direct answer because it'll be disingenuous and not fair for me as a male to answer it directly. But my answer is my speculation to why I feel like there's not a lot of female creators. Nothing stopping them. I just don't think there's an interest for it. Even my own wife, she sees me do this podcast, have my own channel, talk about doing another channel. I've even asked her, hey, you want to do one with me? She was actually supposed to do my first channel, my credit card and travel channel with me. You've never seen her show up. It's just multitude of reasons, some of what RJ said, but at the same time, just also personal. Her personality is not as fake extroverted as mine. I'm actually an introvert, y'all. A lot of y'all won't know that, but I feel real comfortable in my office here. But she is way more introverted than I am, and so I don't know what to do. I don't know. The analysis paralysis keeps her from jumping in, and so that's just one example. I'm sure there's plenty others and why. There's not one answer of why, but that's just one answer of why.
Definitely makes sense. Craig, anything else?
I won't, and I'll say it. I think it's interesting because we have some people in our Discord so I'll say this. It used to really bother me when people would say, oh my God, look, you're such an active dad. And it's no, I'm just a parent. I don't babysit my kids. And that used to really bother me. And I get it now where it's, this just historically and structurally has not been an expectation. And again, to Lonnie's point, you just don't see a lot of, and RJ's too, female creators in male dominated spaces. And even outside of YouTube, fun fact, I have a coral reef. I love reefing. I love like fish keeping, things of that nature. That is a massively male dominated space. And you would think, what about keeping fish screams men? But for every 10 male YouTubers, there's one female YouTuber that creates content in that space. I won't, because I don't want to upset everyone, but it's a word that starts with and ends with misogyny, because let's also say women couldn't have credit cards on their own before 1974, right? There are structurally, and people think that was decades ago. I have siblings that are older than that, right? My mom can remember not having the right to have a credit card without my dad signing off on that. So just putting that in perspective. Also, I think too, and I'm going to give a shout out to another creator, Sledge, just made a video about this. We refer to, and not always, but for the most part, when we say player 2, people have an image in their head. RJ just mentioned this, where it's, oh yeah, you're talking about your wife or your girlfriend. Just say my wife or my girlfriend. Why are you referring to people as player 2 and as opposed to like my partner who makes equal amounts of the financial decisions in my household as I do? So I just think it's also just in the way that we phrase the conversation. But yeah, I think I won't belabor a point, but I will add a few extra people to that list that I actually follow, and 2 that I really love. It's GeoBreeze Travel. She actually has a very different form of kind of credit card YouTube. Yes, there is the points and miles. There's the here's how you book a trip thing, but it's a lot of interviewing and like interviewing of interesting people that you possibly wouldn't find on YouTube, but that might be TikTokers, they might be Instagram people. And she just does some like really interesting deep dive content. That's actually how I first learned really a deep dive into the Alaska ecosystem, and not just, oh, here's how you get Alaska status, but like, how do you leverage Alaska status to do like really interesting aviation type tours, right? Like the supply run, that flight 47 that goes from Seattle all the way up to the like Arctic Circle that only runs once a week, right? Teaching you how Alaska status gets you on that flight because only a certain number of civilians are allowed on that route. So like really just interesting things like that. And this is a creator I actually just found or just subscribed to within the last month. But her name's Anisha, and it's Points with Anisha or Level Up with Anisha. She has 2 different types of naming conventions that she uses. I've been like just consuming her content. And of course, Kiki, love Key. She's just always awesome. But yeah, no, I think we can come up with several different ways and you'll get several different refuted answers for that. But to a certain degree, I just don't feel like putting my time and energy into a space that may not be a space that is the most welcoming to me. And not saying that there's not welcoming people in the space, but as a whole, I kind of stick to my lane in certain things. And I think I'm going to just leave it there.
There has been studies done that if a woman hits 9 out of 10 criteria for a job posting, she will not apply.
Yep.
But if a man hits 6 out of 10, he will apply. And I think that's sometimes for a style of YouTube where you have to present yourself as knowing what you're talking about. It's not just like a travel vlog where you're like, hey, I went on vacation and this is what my hotel room looks like and this is whatever. You have to know things, right? Like we all are presenting ourselves as knowledgeable. A lot of women, if they don't feel like they know everything, they're not going to say anything because I am the one who responds to our comments and I delete the ones that are just purely sexist. And I can tell you that there have been more comments I've had to delete about me than I've had to delete about all of my male co-hosts put together. It's not many, thankfully, but I've had to do it more for me than I've had to do it for them. And it's comments where you're like, if you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. You don't have to say I'm wrong because I'm a woman. That's the line. And that is a thing that is a factor here, I think, too, is like women who don't feel like they're experts in a thing just won't talk about it, especially on something like the internet.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, there's this Credit Moms podcast
I threw it
that I
into
came
the
across
a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that channel. It's not Mom's Credit Card Fortnite, I can tell you that much. Okay. But there is we'll put in, if I can remember, we'll put it in the show notes. But there are definitely more women-led channels out there. Kayla Shenanigans, she talks about credit cards. She loves her some Amex. When she posts, she's got some interesting takes. Jackie Lavielle, the credit connector, she hasn't posted in a couple of months, but just wanted to put her out there as a spotlight. Yeji Reno, as I mentioned, she just put out a video today about American Airlines. She did a video a couple weeks ago about Chase, Marriott, and American Express. Like, they're out there. You should definitely go look for them. But yeah, there's certainly things that can come up as reasons as to why the space isn't nearly as full of female creators as it should. And a lot of it can be from the language that we use. A lot of it can be from our attitudes. A lot of it can be the dismissive terms that we can use, like player two instead of partner, because they're generally your life partner. Why are they not your partner with your credit card vendors?
Also, I'm just going to say it, the space is also very white, like in general.
Yeah, that too.
If we're going to talk about the lack of women creators, I have to at least say that. As I sit on a podcast with two non-white people, I do understand what I'm saying, but I'm just going to say it.
I actually adhere to the Clayton Bigsby method of things.
I was going to say that wasn't part of the question, but that is a whole separate conversation.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to double the conversation. I'm pointing out that it's not just a men versus women thing. Like, the space is very skewed in one direction. That's all I'm saying.
Not just this space.
No.
Yeah.
Many spaces.
Yeah. So thanks, AP.
Good swerve, Matt. Good swerve.
Yep. Thank you, Matt.
Yep. Before I tailspin out and hit the tree, let's go on into our next question. It comes from Arnally, who asks, what if Chase made a unified airline currency card like the Atmos card, but it was the Avios Epoch card? It was a Visa Infinite and gave you first year One World Ruby, halfway head start to Ruby every year after, 4 lounge passes annually to the Chase One World co-brand card partners and Avios Currency Airlines. It earned 3x on all Chase One World co-brand card partners and Avios Currency Airlines, 3x dining, 2x general travel. It earns Avios, no foreign transaction fees, 1 unrestricted companion pass, same airlines as mentioned, at $6,000 spend annually. Card comes with a $9.99 annual fee because nobody can put a comma in front. What other benefits would you add to it, or how would you change what I suggested as features? This coming from Arnally. I will turn to our resident One World flyer, Craig, first on this one.
Oh, I thought you would have gone to the person that most recently got an AA card, but that's cool too.
No, she did that on her own accord because she thought she was.
I did that under peer pressure from Matt giving a challenge, and he still won't take responsibility for his actions.
Got it. A few changes that I would make. So I'll say the first, when we're talking about those co-branded lounges, if you have status, it doesn't matter. You're getting in there. It doesn't matter if you have the passes or not. And now, granted, you can say, Craig, I can't get into first class lounges. Fair, but also one of the things that I'm going to be changing about the card is I'm assuming if you have a $999 card, let's just say the $4-figure dollar card in general, that you're going to be putting some spend on it. And based on the person that this card is more than likely targeted to, because it's not like the Amex Platinum or the CSR where there's general usage, you are still, and despite One World being one of the bigger alliances, pretty well pigeonholed into how you can and cannot use this card. So I'm putting a spending gateway to One World Sapphire and Emerald in there. So if you spend $40K on the cards, you get One World Sapphire. If you spend $75K, you're getting One World Emerald. So that essentially makes those passes null and void. Because at that point, even if you're flying economy, which I do not recommend flying economy on any long haul international flight, just putting that out there, but you do as you see fit and you use your points how you want to. You can get into any one. Now, granted, there are still some like random lounges. So, for example, in London Heathrow, there's still a lounge where like only British Airways first class people can get into, no matter what, unless you have a BA first class ticket, you just can't get on in that lounge. But I think also then keeping that in mind, how we have the spending structures, also we will tweak that companion pass. $6,000 for an unlimited companion pass for Avios is like minuscule, just an absolute drop in the bucket. People are going to use and abuse. That is going to be instantaneously nerfed. So we're moving that spending limit up to $60,000, matching the Atmos card. Because if I'm being realistic, if we're saying that, hey, this is going to be an unlimited companion fare, just think about where you can go. You can get a first class round trip redemption on JLA booked through British Airways, or you can get a first class ticket anywhere really through Avios. Like that's the problem. Avios is Avii, the plural of Avios. Actually, I don't know what that is, but neither here nor there. We will move on past that. It's still a strong currency, right? Like I think it gets overshadowed because we have the AA points, we have the United Miles, we have the Alaska Miles that you can use to buy headphones or buy rooms and everything else. But all together, especially when you consider how many different ways you can get Avios points, it's a really powerful currency. Like almost, I'm pretty sure every single transferable bank currency goes to Avios. So on top of that, yeah. So on top of that, think it's not a great transfer ratio, but you can send Hilton over there. You can send Marriott points over there. So there's ways to get an absolute metric butt ton of Avios points. The other thing I'm doing on there, he did not mention travel insurances. So we are just going to match right up with the CSR. Everything that is travel protection CSR is going to just match over there. Visa Infinite, if that is, and this is an aside, but this is something that just bothers me. The Amex Platinum has good travel insurance, guys. And trust me, it is good. Great. It will protect you. I don't know why we have said, oh, you got to have a round trip flight. Are you just never going home? Are you moving to somewhere else? There's no time limit on it. Also, let's say I haven't booked my flight. Okay, so you flew out and you didn't book a return flight within 2 days of when you were going to leave? Come on. Like when people are trying to nitpick some of that Amex travel insurance, it just feels really niche in a way that just is unproductive. Or I can tell that like you've either been traveling as a singular young person like in your early 20s by yourself, or B, you've never traveled with a family. And I specifically target out young person because if you are in your 30s, you know that there is nothing that you would rather not do than not have a way home on a vacation. Right? I'm just going to put that out there. RJ, Lonnie, Matt, can you think of anything worse than being stranded somewhere because you were waiting? I can save 10,000 Delta miles on this redemption back if I just wait till 24 hours before the trip to book. That sounds absolutely miserable.
Main cabin.
Okay, fair enough.
Being on that same situation and your only flight home is on a CRJ 200
Oh, Matt, why would you do that?
because I like pain. Or being in that same situation and you're stranded with certain members of certain discords.
Fair enough. Moving on. But yeah, like I just, some of this just feels like you've never been uncomfortable and you've never had the opportunity to say, I can do better for myself, and I just will. But back to the card, the other things that I want to really put in there are some wonderful One World things and partnerships that I really think we could take advantage of. Unfortunately, I would also change the card from being a Visa Infinite card to a MasterCard World, or what is it, World Legend card. But keeping the CSR protections, I know this is my weird makeup card. And the reason I'm doing this, when you're flying One World, you actually get some really nice partnerships with MasterCard. And so some of that can look like MasterCard vacations. Some it can look like MasterCard golf outings, or just weird things that you can do that are partnerships that I think are also interesting. For example, when you go to Abu Dhabi, or if you decide that you want to go to Abu Dhabi or some of those other larger Middle Eastern airports.
I want to go. I want to go to Abu
Okay.
Dhabi.
Fun fact, you can do excursions through MasterCard that are exclusive, right? Do I want to do dune buggy racing in the sand dunes in Dubai? Absolutely. If I'm going to Dubai, you're absolutely goddamn right. I want to go dune buggy racing in the dunes. Do I want to like have a 5-star meal planned for me? And granted, is it more cookie cutter? Sure. But like, it's also just a reward that you can have as a spending limit. So there are just certain things that I think when we are talking credit card points and miles or reward, that we don't oftentimes think about the back end network cohesion with it. So that's another item I change. And then also, I think sometimes we don't necessarily need to have, and this is just a me thing, and it could just be that I have credit fatigue. I'm going to lower that annual fee down from $9.99 to I'll just match the CSR at $7.95. Or actually, you know what? We're going $6.50 because United Black Card. You have your Head Start, you have your Companion Pass, and I will throw you a bone and say the perk of the card is you get 100,000 point Companion Pass as an annual aside. You just get it. That is well and beyond far more worth $650. And then you can spend your way to an additional unlimited Companion Pass after $75,000 in spend. And that's your card. The other thing I'm changing is you're getting 4X for partner airlines, and you're getting 4X on car rentals and 3X on general travel. Actually, 3X general travel, 4X with the airlines, 2X other. That's it. It's a simple card for me, but like, I think with the Head Start on status as well as the Companion Passes, that I'd pay $650 for that. But that's just me.
Okay.
I also think RJ would love Iberia, but that's neither here nor there.
That's flying to Spain, and Spain has sun. I don't think that's going to work out very well.
But RJ likes ham.
I don't eat most pork.
You don't? I thought we talked about this. Okay, never mind.
I eat
I have
bacon
completely
and
misread.
pepperoni. That's about my pork intake.
I will gladly sign up for jamón ibérico.
Okay. I'm just saying that you can just get you a whole ham, just sit it right there on the counter. I'm here for it.
I want to get Matt one of those mini hams that is on the hanger that you can just carve little slices off of.
That's
I
what
feel
he's referring to.
Yep.
Okay. This is how much I think about ham, guys.
I'm not even a big ham person, but going to Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I don't say
gotta-
that. I say Barcelona.
Thank you. You're a normal person.
I'm from Illinois.
It's always somebody that has to correct you. And it's no, actually, I think you mean Barcelona. No, I meant Barcelona.
Yeah,
Sorry.
pronounce my name right, and then I'll get to Barcelona.
But yeah, that's it for me. I'm done. I'm gonna be quiet now.
All right. Lonnie, what do you think about this card?
You know what? I just remember what the question was because we were so much on ham and how to pronounce country names.
Now on some prosciutto.
I had to bring it back for a second. And yes, jamon is delicious for all that like to go to Barcelona. I don't care how you pronounce it. As for the question in the card, it's a great card. I know it's a hypothetical, doesn't exist, probably never will. But the way it is listed out, that's a great card. Why don't we go ahead and why don't someone go ahead and do something like that? I might actually change my ecosystem for a card like that because I would have to because of the points and the redemptions. Other than that, what benefits would I add? What benefits you got left? The only thing you didn't do is add more earnings to the benefits we're aware of, the travel and the dining and the whatnot. You still didn't skip out on $1,000 annual fee though. So we could change that. Any other suggested features? No. And the reason why I say all that is because we all know how I feel about the customizable card. Other than changing a couple brands and the bank around, that's my customizable card right there. Like, boom. Outside of global services for United, of course, like spend X amount of dollars, get global services, but technically spending X amount of dollars gets you global services, so it's already included. So I don't really have too much to actually add there, but no, put a lot of work into that question and building out that card. Sadly, it does not exist, but I'm hoping for you. Hoping for you.
I wish Chase had more One World partners because they only have British Airways and Iberia. I really wish they had more One World partners. That would be super interesting. RJ, your take here.
Sounds like a good card. I have zero thoughts on Avios personally.
All right, that was quick.
Like Delta, what do you want from me? Okay.
I
I
don't
fly
know.
Delta by booking through Delta because I can't backdoor book where I am. I'm sorry.
I could have sworn that you were an AA loyalist, but I could have just misremembered something.
I have 2 Delta cards. I have 1 AA card.
As the card itself, first year One World Ruby is pretty cool. The head start to Ruby's not bad, and Ruby to Sapphire is not it's not an insignificant jump, but like you can move up, I feel like relatively quickly with One World. I don't remember off the top of my head. I could also be speaking completely out of my depth. A card like this, as laid out, would be cool. It would be nice if Chase had half a brain and could execute it. Right now, Chase can't execute anything properly without falling on its face in terms of credit cards. And yeah, as I like to say, an Avios is an Avios is an Avios. So building out some Avios that you can move over to Qatar for Q suites would be cool. Spend requirements probably being a bit higher would probably have to be done, especially with that unrestricted companion pass. I don't know that 6K spend gets it because 6K spend on the Alaska card gets you the $99 companion pass, I think. I could be wrong, but I think it's only the $99 companion pass.
You are correct.
Oh, perfect. So you're going to need to bump that up to get the unrestricted because that's like saying, oh yeah, for $6,000, you can take anyone in the world on Q suites with you, which Q suites seats, well, that's a tongue twister, are a little bit more than $6,000. That's the deal of the century, and people are going to abuse the crap out of that. So we'll avoid that. But earnings look cool. I would actually really like to see banks approach the airline alliances and develop airline alliance points directly. So, we don't have United as a airline partner. Okay, cool. But we have Star Alliance, and we could exchange Star Alliance points for our points, and then you can use the Star Alliance points wherever you want without having to go through direct to Air Canada or Singapore to staying in Star Alliance. And if you went with One World, you could do a One World point, and then you could take that One World point and go out to the other One World partners. Transfer rates that way might be a little hectic because your One World point might be 3-2 with Qatar or 3-1 with American Airlines, so that American Airlines can feel superior or something. I don't know. But it would be interesting to see the alliances get into the transferable currency game, because I don't know. I'm here for chaos, and that would be chaotic. No, I think the card as presented is interesting. I do think along the lines with Craig, some things would have to get bumped up. It does seem like One World and MasterCard get along a little bit better than Visa and some others. The Visa Infinite, no big deal. I don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment. I do wish Chase had more One World partners. Avios is definitely a solid place to start with them. Move it to British Airways or move it to Iberia, and then you could go merry-go-round and get Qatar in there as well. Interesting card overall, and I don't know what else I could do. Like the 4X launch passes makes a lot of sense, and the head start going forward definitely tracks. Yeah, thanks Arnold. Thanks Arnally. I wish I had more there. I also wish that Chase had more One World partners.
Depending on how many shenanigans you actually choose to get into, and my tolerance for shenanigans right now is low, you can parlay those Avios points into other things, into a Starlux flight that then parlays into something. And then look, I just ended up with United Metal. It's the individual airline partnerships that you'd have to look into. But this is that I'm 50% down the iceberg of points and miles. I'm never going to be 100% at the deepest part of any hobby because I have things to do. But I'm certain you can get from an Avios to a United flight somehow.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Okay, and I want my 6 biggie bags.
Craig, you're referring to the overanalyzing of booking, where it's, I want to go somewhere. I need to go to this booking website, backdoor booking website, or this points website and put in like 12 different airports in 5 different days to see what I can get the best price, looking for something that's 60,000 points. And then I got to transfer them out and get those over there so I can backdoor book somewhere. Bitch, take your ass to the website and just look it up.
Oh, and you can only transfer points at 4:37 in the morning.
On a Wednesday.
I love it. I love all of it.
All right. Thanks, Arnally. Let's move over to our next question. It comes from RP2048, who asks, what's the simplest, most obscure setup that you could make and that you've seen in the wild? I may be able to put together a Mesa and Built and Rakuten card setup that could do very well. I don't know about that because I don't know if you can double dip Mesa and Built, especially. You might be able to now through some gray area methods that may or may not have been mentioned on Frequent Miler, but I am not aware of a direct way when mortgages come that you're going to be able to double dip Mesa and Built. Just going to put that out there to start. Lonnie, what is the simplest, most obscure setup that you could make?
Oh, I've answered this question before. My CSR and pick a color of one of the United cards, not the white one, any of the other 3, and you're done. It's literally if you are a United loyalist, all your hotels, your rental cars, like everything you need, obviously you're flying United, you're covered. You don't need not even 3, 4, 5 different cards at that point. You're good to go. You're literally just good to go. Another easy setup. You want to be more universal? Amex green, gold, platinum. End of the story. Or just do platinum and pick one of Hilton Aspire, platinum, Marriott Brilliant, and you're done. It's super simple, but not to go too far back like our last question, the joke I just made with Craig. All you got to do is use the travel portal and understand where your points are, and you're done. Your flight, your hotel, your rental, everything's just done. You actually don't need all these cards anymore. These cards have gotten revamped and refreshed and reconfigured so many times that I've mentioned this before. We got so many overlapping categories where even Matt, you ask, hey, you want a Wells Fargo card? No, I don't need another points ecosystem. I've said this. Lonnie, how come you won't get a Capital One card? Because I honestly don't need another points ecosystem. Between Chase and Amex, I'm good. And I could get rid of one of them and still be good between my United miles and pick one. So, yeah, that's it. I gave you 2 options, an Amex option and a Chase option.
Nope, that's fair. RJ?
So I think this is a good question. I think when you say like simplest, most obscure, like simplest is just a 2x card. Like the simplest is just a 2x card, and you just don't think, you just use your card, right? Like at the end of the day, that's the simplest. And then maybe you pair it with a 3x card like the green or the autograph or whatever. But if you want obscure, you can get obscure. If you want simple, you can get simple. I don't necessarily think they're compatible. Because Lonnie's was a great answer. It's not obscure. Like, it's not. I think it's a very simple setup. I think if you're into United at all, it'll do you better than all of the gamesmanship in the world. Right? For a simple setup, you get a 2x card, you get 1 or 2 cards with higher than 2x multipliers, and you go about your day. Like, this is it. Maybe you get a Surpass and a Delta Platinum and your 2x card, and you're done. That's it. If you want simple, you can get simple real easy. Like, we all delude ourselves from a points perspective. I think most of us are deluding ourselves. Perks, I think it depends on who you are, right? I value certain things that Craig doesn't. Craig values certain things Lonnie doesn't. Lonnie values certain things Matt doesn't. Matt values certain things I don't. So that, I think, perks, I think, is a separate conversation. But I think with points, most of us are deluding ourselves most of the time. Because you can absolutely gain 15, 20, 30% more points. Or you can use Rakuten, hit up a 27x sale on Adidas, and have more points than every careful metric you've done in the last 2 months. Like, I do care about categories, but I care about categories because that's who I am fundamentally as a person, not because ultimately it's that much of a difference. That's just who I am as a person. So there you go.
Makes sense. Craig?
Yeah, no, so I will agree with RJ. Despite how Keen and Peele might feel, we are not a monolith. I knew that was going to land with one of you guys.
I'm going to have that in my head for the rest of this taping. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome. So I think, to Lonnie's point, stop overcomplicating it. Just do what works, right? Because I've gone through a few, and mostly for me, it's just a catch-all card is my hotel card, and I threw some AA in there. Do I think Admirals clubs are the worst of the big 3 lounges? Absolutely. If I was going to be honest with you, I'm going to say Delta's number 1, then United, then AA as far as like quality of lounges. And I'm just saying on average, like there are some wonderful United clubs. There are some crappy Delta lounges. Trust me, if you've been in Philly, the United and the Delta Club, Sky Club, terrible, just terrible. But unfortunately, everything that I want to do, I can just do through American Airlines. And it's not because I think it's the best. It's just what I got. I just looked at my account right now. I'm at 453,000 LP for the year, and I've still got 700,000 AA miles. And I just got an AA card. Realistically, even though I'm flying less, I could still make enough AA points to just make everything work in that ecosystem. Do I want to? No. But to RJ's point, we're diluting down stuff. And so if I really had to have a setup, it'd be the City Strata Premier, probably a custom cash, probably a double cash, an AA card, call it a day. I'll just say the executive card, and then we're going on about our way. But if we're talking obscure, I'm throwing the Fairwinds Visa out there because it's amazing. 2x all, 5x theme parks, 5x travel, 3x dining, and then on top of that, I'm going to throw in the Franklin Mint Credit Union U.S. Bank clone card for a rotating 5x category of $2,000 per quarter. So boom, and everything I want is covered because they're all no foreign transaction Visa cards. So I'm good everywhere. I'm just like that. But from an actual usability standpoint, my oddly obscure, oddly specific setup's going to be a City Custom Cash, a City Strata Premier, and a City Double Cash, and then the AA Executive card. I will get status through somebody's credit card lounges by just staying there, or I'll just use my AA lounges. And then for as far as airline hotel status, I'll figure it out. I looked at it. I'm going to end the year on probably like 110 nights, but in bed. And that made me very sad because I don't want to be away from my house. I pay all this mortgage to just not be here. And that is a shame.
That's fair. Good pull on the fair winds. I'm annoyed I didn't initially think of that.
That was actually just specifically for you, just to be very clear. Because Lonnie's going to be like, what the hell is a fair wind species? And I'm not saying that you are not knowledgeable, not Lonnie. You're just like, I don't care about this card.
I was going to say, I know what it is. I just don't care about this car. You just beat me to it.
Yeah. I know Lonnie has plenty of credit card knowledge. I don't care. So
5% at Universal and Disney don't care. Another ecosystem. Nope.
All I need is a travel portal that can get me like Universal and Disney tickets again. That's all I really need.
Honestly, yeah.
No comment.
That's because there aren't any left.
Chase, why you do me dirty?
Yeah, Chase screwed us. Built left us. We're not.
There might be another one. There might be another one
coming, but not here
when
today.
Matt resist, challenge impossible.
I mean,
anyway,
you could always use pay yourself back, but still, it's not directly.
It's not
the same.
Yeah, and it's not 1.5.
It's not elevated.
It's not 1.5 or 1.25 without trying.
Yep. Simplest, most obscure setup that you can make. Any 2% card through a cashback portal of some sort, like literally the Wells Fargo Active Cash or the Citi Double Cash and Rakuten, you can do pretty well. Also, hook one of those two cards into Built so that you can like slowly accrue Built miles along the way with your rent and stuff like that. Then you're fine. Like what you do with the extra cash back, who cares? And then, what do I do about my travel? You can just purchase the points when they're on sale. Like you can just buy points in whatever ecosystem you want. It's not illegal to do. You can buy the points wherever you want to go. And prior to a couple weeks ago, the only way to get like Lufthansa points was to purchase them. Yeah, just buy the points that you want if you really want to be obscure about it and really want to be selective with what points you want to put together. Most obscure setup, I don't know, man. A Wells trifecta is pretty obscure. I don't know too many people who have Wells trifectas besides me. The Attune can go pretty far. The autograph goes pretty far. The Active Cash goes pretty far. The Attune and the Active Cash have foreign transaction fees, so that sucks, but whatever. Yeah, I haven't seen too many like obscure credit card combinations out in the wild. I don't usually approach strangers because I'm pretty introverted myself and go, hey, what setup do you run with your credit cards? Because they would just look at me funny and want to punch me. And I don't feel like getting punched. I don't feel like leaving my house if I don't have to. So there's also that. Simple, most obscure setup you can make. I don't know. That Mesa Built Rakuten combination may do very well. But man, I don't know. So I'm just going to default back to my Wells Fargo setup because I'm the only one I know who has a trifecta, and I'm probably the only one in the credit card community who has a full trifecta of Wells Fargo cards. Maybe Rich with Points also has the trifecta of Wells cards, but I can't think of anyone else. Just me. But honestly, like most simple. Just grab yourself a 2% card and a cashback system that works well for you. You can do really well with Upside. You can do really well with Top Cashback. You could do really well with Rakuten. You could do really well and just use Cashback Monitor. Find the best deals and go from there. That can also help. Yeah, sorry for the non-answer, but yeah, I don't see too much stuff in the wild. But thanks, RP. Our last question comes from Diamond Rice, who asks, with Rakuten getting yet another transferable ecosystem as a payment option, what do dining and shopping portals like Alaska, United, or Marriott and Hilton Dining, etc., have to do to compete with Rakuten or surpass them? And I will go to RJ to start this one.
I'm sighing because it's a great question and I don't have a great answer for it other than things that they don't want to do or won't do. So, like, I have 943,000 Hilton points right now, which I will use, but if I could transfer them at not 10-1 somewhere else, that would also be great occasionally, right? Or if Hilton allowed me to book flights, that would be great. The problem with using Alaska or United or Marriott or Hilton or whatever is especially less a problem with the airline portals, more of a problem with the hotel portals. I can't do a whole lot through the hotel portals, like other than make the points for the hotels. And I'm sure Lonnie has 19 ways of which these things can be done, but like airlines tend to be what people use for portals of other things, right? Not Hilton or Marriott. So I think ultimately, like they need to work better together. They need to be more flexible. Like the nice thing about Rakuten, and I'm going to say it before Matt does, Rove, is the flexibility, is the ability to not have points in a Hilton ecosystem if you don't want to. I like making my points for Hilton, but I like to choose which points I'm making for Hilton, right? If I have a big purchase and I put it on my Hilton card, that's because I choose to put it on that Hilton card and get those 5x back on it, right? Where having more flexibility with Rakuten or different things like that is helpful. So I just think flexibility ultimately is what they need to do to compete.
Thanks for that. Also, with Rove, I recently became a moderator on one of Rove's Facebook groups, and they are going to be giving me points every month for being a moderator. Just a quick disclosure there. Yeah, that's that. Lonnie, you were the most interested in this question in the pre-show. What can the other dining and shopping portals for like Alaska and United do to compete with Rakuten or surpass them?
I don't really think they got to do anything. And I'm going to say it like this because first off, you don't have to pick a portal and stick with it. You don't have to pick a dining portal and be stuck with it. You can change it, and you could change it when you wake up, and before you go to bed, change it to something else later. Same thing with shopping portals. You can change it every time. Now, I will say Rakuten is more aggressive when it comes to the amount of points that you can earn. But at the same time, I'll say it like this. Rakuten is more aggressive because I see it at 10x, 15x, or 20x, especially around like holiday or big shopping season, i.e. when Amazon Prime Day comes up, then you see 20x over there. Hold on, my dog wants to get out. Go. Look, we're live, folks. We're live. That really happened. But I'll see that with Rakuten more often. But the issue that I have with that is that I will also see the United shopping portal go 10, 15, 20x sometimes at a lot of the brands that I shop at. I'll see Chase portal want to get in the game and they'll do the exact same thing. So it's not that they have to do something different. And I think it's on the user to be like, what points do I want to earn or where do I want to do that with? Now, one of the things that I think when it comes to a lot of the, not just the dining portals, but specifically the shopping portals, is they need extensions. Extensions are the key. Not that I don't like Chase, but I've mentioned this before. Matt, you and I have talked about, get to Chase shopping portal, takes 6
It's 47 clicks.
Yeah. It's so many clicks to find it and finally get there. And heaven forbid you don't click out because you got to do them all over again. There's no shortcut back. Where I know I use the United shopping extension. I have the Rakuten shopping extension. So I go to a certain website and boom, I get a couple of small pop-ups in the upper right corner of my screen. And that just makes it convenient to the point where I rarely use the Chase shopping portal now, only because I'm like, this is what United has. Oh, look at what Rakuten has. Why do I need to go look anywhere else? If Rakuten's at 20, no one's going to be at 21. So I don't really need to go anywhere else. And so to remain competitive, to compete, not necessarily surpass them, is one, I don't know how I know how Rakuten's affording it, of course, how they work their shopping portal. But look, you guys might want to pay your little partners a little bit more so y'all can have competing offers more often. And then whoever does not have just a simple extension for your Chrome browser or whatever browser you use, of course, I'm using Chrome, like 80% of the rest of the world, just make a button. And then when they all pop up, I get to see which one, sing for my supper, which one wants my business. If I see United has 4 and Rakuten has 15, United just lost. They just lost. So I think that's the best way. So it's not necessarily about they're not competing or they're not as good. I just don't think they are putting themselves out there, approaching the customer in the most efficient way. And that'll be the best way that they compete.
Yeah. For me, I would say on the dining side, get off of Rewards Network. Everybody uses the same thing, so everybody has the same template to start. Marriott Bonvoy Eat Around Town starts you off at 3 additional Bonvoy points on top of everything else that you're doing when you go to that particular dining establishment. Built Neighborhood Dining through Rewards Network. Same thing, same locations, same reward structure. Hilton Dining, geez. Same locations, same earnings. Maybe you can get Hilton MVP dining when you do 10 restaurants and then you go from 3 times points to 5 times points. Do something different. Find a different place. Like, actually invest in your dining or shopping platforms if you want to grow your dining and shopping platforms. If you are Alaska or Marriott doesn't really do the dining, it doesn't really do the shopping platform, but they do the dining thing, right? If you want to be in that game, go be in that game and invest in time and make it so that, hey, you pick up some more national brands as well. Hey, do you want to earn Marriott points while you're eating at McDonald's? They could do that. They could invest some money and make that happen. Hey, you want to earn Alaska Atmos miles while chugging down your Starbucks? If you so choose. Do you want to earn United miles while not only using Lyft? That's a new thing, but also taking that Lyft to Outback Steakhouse? I'm just naming random chains at this point, but partner up with chain restaurants and more than TGI Friday, because TGI Friday is in Rewards Network, and that's just sad. But you're not only competing with Rakuten, you're not only competing with yourselves. And when you're all on Rewards Network, none of you are on Rewards Network. It's the same thing as status at like a hotel or having status on an airline. When everyone has status at a place, status don't matter. It's the same thing when you're all on Rewards Network. Do something different. Take a step away. Try to be like Google and launch Stadia, but don't kill it within 15 minutes. Just be different.
It was 2 years.
Long arc of time, 15 minutes.
It worked, and it was great.
Then
it was a bad business model.
And then Alphabet, like everything that Alphabet does, just goes, oh yeah, that's cool technology, but we can't monetize it well enough, so we're going to kill it.
I said it was a bad business model.
Yeah.
But the tech worked, which is why they didn't strip it for parts and sell it off.
I'm really surprised that Microsoft didn't try to buy that team.
Oh, I already know what they're going to do. I already know what Google's going to do with it. You see me wearing the t-shirt.
I just thought we were just celebrating dead tech. I don't know. Anyway, invest in tech platform. Like, do something different. Don't do the same thing. Everybody carbon copies the exact same thing with their dining programs. They're all exactly the same. That's why you can't attach a card to multiple of them. It's dumb. That is why I would rather just pay Rewards Network directly. And hey, let me pick where I'm going to get my rewards on one card, so I don't have to register 47 cards. But that's just me. And maybe get into moving your points amongst your partners a little bit easier as well. I don't know. That could work too. But yeah, I think if the Alaska's, United's, Marriotts of the world like wanted to more actively compete with Rakuten, they would just have to invest and do it. Like, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. They can choose to jump into different areas in the market to acquire customers. They just have to choose to do it and execute on it properly. Unlike some banks. Chase, Citi, whatever the hell US Bank is doing. Has anybody checked on US Bank, by the way? Do they still have money?
Not after that last Vikings game.
That's fair. I had to give it all to JJ McCarthy. Craig, any final thoughts here?
No, you all have hit essentially every major point that I was going to. The only other feedback I would give is further marketing, because I think the average person doesn't know or understand how these portals function within their cards. It's one thing for a points and miles person to say, oh yeah, this is awesome, I can get more points. But I'm just going to use my mom as an example. She is an authorized user on my card, and If I said, oh yeah, you could hook this up, or if I said, hey mom, you can have your credit card earn extra rewards, there's going to be a cascading amount of unnecessary questions that I personally am not willing to deal with. And I'm certain that is far more likely than not. And so I just think that the average person doesn't understand or know how these portals function. And so I think taking a little bit extra time to think about those awareness campaigns could be helpful.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks, Diamond Rice. Thanks, everyone, for your questions. With that, I would like to highlight our new members and Diamond members. New members this week for the Silver tier are Casey, Gabe Star, Relatively Maxwell, Dan Margraf, Dem, Mark Cornelius Lau, and our Diamond members are Rupert Pond, Brendan Hirsch, Rygrex Hunter, Mitch 528, AP, Keith, and Double Animal Fry. So thank you so much for supporting the show. With that, we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.